Bullying is one of the worst things a child can experience, and there's so many different ways of thinking about how to help them deal with the actual bullying itself. But I want to focus more today on limiting the impact it has on their self-worth and their self-esteem, because as a parent, that is one of the roles that I think we can take. What we mean by this is, how much does the child take on board that people are treating me badly and that means it's me, there's something wrong with me, versus it means there's something wrong with them, because that is a very different feeling. The example I'm going to give here is Matilda from the book and the film and my very favourite musical, Matilda. Now, we think of her as remarkable because she can move stuff with her mind, but the real reason she is remarkable is that people in positions of extreme power and influence over her, her parents and her headmistress, are bullies, and they call her the most awful things. But she is very clear that this is not about me, this is about you. You are in the wrong. And that is what's remarkable, because that isn't usual. It isn't usual when somebody's treating us badly, particularly when we're a child and we feel kind of vulnerable. This is a normal way to feel. We feel like, what's wrong with me? Why am I being singled out? But the fact is, it's not about you, it's about them. So how do I help my child take a little bit more of Matilda with them, I suppose? First thing is normalizing. The temptation when a child is being bullied, isn't really affected by it, is to try and sort of resolve it in some way, try and help them take away the anxiety, try and tell them that it's not such a big deal. What that can do is it can feel for the child that I'm being dismissed, that actually the way that I feel is weird too. So that potentially is more evidence that it's me. There's something wrong with me. Whereas if I change my scope to just, this is awful, and let me just really normalise that for you, I understand how horrible that is. That must be so awful to be treated that way. Normalise helps me recognise that actually it is reasonable to be affected by this. Second thing, quite a useful practical thing, particularly with young children, is undermine the authority of where it's coming from. So if somebody is saying mean things, being able to say something like, well, that's a bit of a ridiculous thing to say, isn't it? Or what an awful human being. I bet they smell like rotten eggs. Something like that. Whatever you can do to undermine the authority of where it's coming from. Point out that that person is being ridiculous. What an awful thing to do. Take it away from the self-focus, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with them? That's what we're going to focus on. And then finally, offering opportunities for the child to be around other people that don't treat them that way. That can help them add to a little bank of evidence that not everybody treats me this way. So maybe it isn't me, maybe it's them.